Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy after 4th of July Monday. How are you? I doing it colder. Yep, that's why. Saturday jumped from 57 to 58, and thanking God for every moment of it. You better believe it. There was once a time in my life I didn't think I'd make 28, a time I didn't think I'd make 38, time I didn't think I'd make 40. Oh, wow, I don't like this progression. It's too many years. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here with all of you. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris, and we've got a great show for you today. Um, in the past few months, with everything going on with George Floyd and all that, we've been talking about a lot of things that need to be talked about all the time, but more so here recently. But one of the things that I found that was still not on the tips of tongues like I feel it should be is about how many African American women are just as prone to being stopped driving while black. Just as many African American women are profiled, just like black men, and quite a few black women are losing their lives while in police custody, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there are a lot of things going on that a lot of us don't know about, myself included. And it's time we start talking about it. So we had a part two of a special a couple weeks ago with some generational women, starting with a 17-year-old all the way through a 78-year-old, generational healing. And I have two of those people back today. They're both journalists, both African American women, both college educated, and just all around in the know. So I thought, who better to bring back but Angel Livis and Ebony McMorris. So we're going to talk to them today about a few things. So I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to get them in here. I know they're still in wardrobe and makeup. How did you? I couldn't help it. I tried. I couldn't help it. Good
You forgot
morning.
to get here.
I know I did that so we could finish it together because I saw Ebony. She was in it too. Good morning, everybody. How are you,
Good
ladies?
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm excited to get into this combo today with you two. Dr. Jan may pop in. She may not. I don't know what it is. I texted her. Jada was feeling ill last night. That's our 17-year-old Miss Benton Harbor, Jada Willis. And so we excused her today, but we'll get him back sometime. So you two were on the show. Angel, you were actually our host a couple weeks ago, and Ebony, you joined the panel. What kind of feedback did you get? Any from family or friends?
Yeah, like for me, I definitely got a lot of feedback. They were like, "You guys were so passionate."
Mm-hmm.
That was the one thing that definitely resonated, I think, with a lot of the viewers, at least that I heard from. How about you?
Mm-hmm.
I had a little listening party in the backyard while I was inside. So my family was watching. And it was good because it created conversation after the show. And that's what you always want to do, create content that makes people continue after. And so it was good for me. Honestly, I was motivated by hearing from the other women. Angel, I've known you for a long time, but to hear you speak so passionately on this issue as we do sometimes, and Jada gave me so much hope, made me wish I could go back to my teen years and put in a little bit more work. I'm not gonna lie. And the wisdom coming from Miss Jan. So again, Loren, just thank you. It was such a good flow and an honest conversation, and it felt good.
It sure did. Excuse me.
Really good.
Yeah, I just heard from Dr. Jan. She's like, I'm still with my trainer in the gym.
Okay.
78. Dr. Jan, don't be. See, the gyms here just opened up today. I got up at 5 and went. I lasted 20 minutes on the treadmill, 15% incline, 3 miles an hour. I used to do 45 minutes. That was before I picked up the COVID-20.
So
the COVID-20 is a real thing.
That's a real pounds. 15. You got that COVID-20.
I got the COVID-20 for real. I ain't lying. I was like, and then I tried the mask, nearly killed me. So I'm smart. So I took a bandana too, and I tucked it underneath my big old headset, and it was hanging. You can breathe. I was like, I'm not kidding. You thought I was bobbing for air apples.
You gotta put some vents in that mask, some little something going on.
It was not easy. I've been sitting on my butt. Well, it's a COVID. It's a pandemic. I ain't supposed to be at the gym. Can't go. I'm eating my way through. Boy, I am telling you what. It's got to go, though. It's got to go.
It's therapy. Food is therapy.
It is. So I was in the parking lot 15 minutes before they reopened. Okay. I wanted to let it be known because I'm 58. Today's the first day I can do something. And and look.
Happy birthday, Loren.
Thank you. And when I turned 50, no lie, we're going to get into this. I was 187 pounds and I had a 38-inch waist. And when I turned 50, 6 months later, I was this.
Lord, you better.
Right. So I took that picture out.
Wait, Lord, that was you for real?
Yeah, that was me for real.
Put that back. Hold on, Lord.
Good plan. Yeah. So I took it out of the man cave and brought it up here because I'm getting ready to start. Oh, wait, I ain't trying to get nobody in a heart attack. Let me put it there. That's a whole nother show. Wait till I tell you about the competition people when I turned in those pictures. We think maybe you need to reach you. But wouldn't you rather people be following you for your physique? And anyway, they weren't us. I'll tell you that. But anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Loren, Dr. Jan's trying to get in.
Well, she's not on here. She didn't.
She wrote in the live chat. I don't know. I'm just.
She did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it.
Oh, I see.
What? Oh, she needs to try again because she's not in the green room. When I see, thank you though. I'll keep an eye on it. Oh, she's trying to go live from the gym. She got her little outfit on, been dying to put a
picture. She's trying to let you know. She's still.
Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm in the gym with
you. Over here, neck down, I'm all COVID. That's why
I keep
shot. My head costs the same, but the rest is something else.
Right. It has been really, really an interesting time. And I'm keeping my distance. I'm watching. Because I saw a guy on a bike, 3 machines over. He didn't put it, he just walked in with a mask and took it off and started riding the bike. So I was like,
See, that's what scares me about the gym because people are sweating and they're open. I commend you for being as soon as they open. If I did, I'd get there when they open and out.
Right. Just so I can get out.
Would be a workout.
Right. So I'm keeping an eye on, and we work out at a health club that's connected with the hospital. So we're hoping that and one of my friends is an internist there, and Dr. Mark, he said, yeah, we're setting the bar, and it is. I mean, they're not kidding. They got a machine. You just walk up to it, and it put the red dot on your forehead. You seen those?
Yeah.
Your temperature and all that.
I had a doctor's appointment last week, and that you walk in before you can even get through. It's
you're in a lobby.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. It's just like I felt like I did the first time I went to a Popeyes down in the city, and you had to get buzzed in. I was like, how you gonna get buzzed into the Popeyes? They like, could you turn towards the camera? Please remove your sunglasses and hat, sir. I'm like, damn. What you want? A blood test for I come in Popeyes? Don't believe it. They said they done been shot up too many times. I was like, okay, I'm in hurry. I'm taking mine to go. That's what I told him. Give me mine to go. So anyway, didn't even have a drive-through. They said it's too dangerous. You got to open up them windows. They'd be like, come here. Right. So anyway, I am shocked at surprised rather that I told you what we're going to do today, everybody. It's something really different. We're going to see a lot of clips today, and then we're going to talk about them. We're talking about women, African American women, women of color, and women, because women's suffrage rights and all. We know about that and how it's always been a struggle. But we don't hear too much about the African American woman struggle. And it just been dawning on me lately. Ebony froze.
Mm-hmm.
You see her? She frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show a clip. The first one is, if you guys know, recently, it started June 20th when a singer, and we're going to show how this began, posted a TikTok video. TikTok got it going on. A TikTok video about the offensive brand of Aunt Jemima. Now, I'm well aware of it because last year, she's back. Let me take this Ebony off the screen and put this one back on. Okay, Ebony, you're back. Okay. We removed the other one and put the new one on. So I was telling everybody, 2 years ago, we go to this big Halloween party. I'm always the only black there, always. And I went as Aunt Jemima. And I went. I had real cotton pods, necklace, earrings, all in her hair, a basket with her products, a skillet, everything, and a chain around her ankle. Yes, I did. And I gave the
Wow.
host and the hostess a framed, signed, autographed picture of Aunt Jemima from her book, which was entitled, what was it called? Slave in a Box. That was the true story of Aunt Jemima. It was called Slave in a Box. And so it was a real teaching experience, and I won. I won the big grand prize. And it was because people were so shocked. And a lot of times through humor, we have to bring things in that otherwise are very uncomfortable for people to face. But today we're going to look at this. Let's start by taking a look at how this whole Aunt Jemima thing got started. We had a lot of ground to cover. So let's start with that one. Hold on. I'm going to share the screen. Okay. Aunt Jemima. The real reason. Okay. Here we go. Take a look.
On June 15, 2020, Miami-based singer-songwriter Kirby Marier posted a TikTok video called How Not to Make a Racist Breakfast that drew attention to the fact that many brands' logos and images, like Aunt Jemima, are still deeply rooted in offensive stereotypes.
Black Lives Matter, people. Even over breakfast.
As the video quickly went viral, it drew a lot of attention from both social and mainstream media, with Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian tweeting in disbelief, "How is Aunt Jemima not canceled?" It's one of many aspects of American culture being reckoned with in the wake of widespread protests against racism sparked by the death of George Floyd, a wave that caught the attention of Quaker Oats, owner of the 131-year-old Aunt Jemima brand and a subsidiary of PepsiCo. On June 17th, Quaker Oats Chief Marketing Officer Kristen Krepfel said in a press release, "We recognize Aunt Jemima's origins are based on a racial stereotype. While work has been done over the years to update the brand in a manner intended to be appropriate and respectful, we realize those changes are not enough."
Okay, hold on. So now I'm going to go to another piece that I want us to take a look at. Oh, wait a minute. Watch this.
For today.
Well, Mr. Loren, folks says you can't buy happiness, but you can earn.
Yes, Aunt Jemima, and I guess we all want to be happy. Smiling, happy Aunt Jemima, famous for her secret recipe pancakes, waffles, and buckwheat. Let's have one of your old-time sayings.
Buckwheat.
Well, here's a true word, Mr. Loren. The happy folks don't measure time by years, but by the smiles they have spread in the world.
Yes, Aunt Jemima. Smiling, happy Aunt Jemima, famous for her secret recipe pancakes, waffles, and buckwheat. What's a good word, Aunt Jemima?
Well, Mr. Loren, folks says there's nothing so pretty as a happy face and nothing so worthwhile as a happy life.
Yes, Aunt Jemima, that is true. Smiling, happy Aunt Jemima, famous for those secret...
Okay, so I want to know, how does that make you two feel as African American women? And a lot of people back then were like, "Oh, look, a black woman who's," because she was hired and didn't make any money, would go to fairs and places and work horrendous hours, signing autographs, and made a pittance. I mean, nothing that would even last a month, they said. And she did it for years. And if you notice that, what about the things like, "Here's a happy, smiling Aunt Jemima"? They were quick to say that all the time. And give us a word from on the plantation. So, they did all these things to keep her in her place, it seems, and to let people know, don't get it twisted, y'all. So how does that make y'all feel? Who wants to start? Ebony? Oh, Angel, she took that deep breath.
She's ready. She's like,
okay.
Let it out, girl. Let it out.
Yes.
She reached from down under for that one, Lord.
Yes,
come on, girl.
I think even before I can go to how I feel, my first thought is, well, are they paying her family now? Even if you didn't take care of her during that time frame, I mean, this is still like a major brand.
It is.
But the family's on board in some ways. So I was reading it like a week ago that some members of the family, I don't know if it was a great something, they did not want, so I think the image that we see now, they don't want it changed. they actually thought it was wrong for people to do that because I believe the woman that's on there now is based on a woman from 1920s, and they feel like it's a part of their history. I was wondering too, are they getting something on the back end because they're licensing her image for that? But the family, I was very shocked, came out with a statement and said that they were not in agreement with taking it down, and that the last person represented a more modern. In my mind, I just kind of was like, I get it, but come on, like
She looked like Oprah now. They changed. They did. I heard people talking about it. Did you see they changed Aunt Jemima? She looked like Oprah. That's what they were saying when she, because she got a little, a little
right.
flip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little flip.
I was a little upset.
Yeah,
go ahead, Angel. Finish.
I think it's important to not take anything away from her because of the work that she did. And I mean, if it was her recipe and all of that, now
it wasn't.
It wasn't her recipe. So
she was just a face.
She was just a face.
Oh well.
And the people, but you know what? Some people live vicariously through other people's accomplishments. So who knows? I don't know, but I just wondered how it made you all feel, because there it is, a black slave, a female, still on the shelves in stores. They're now going to change it, but it's 2020, And here, and the woman who originally played that role was born in 18 something.
Mm.
So here we are.
Go ahead.
So the family feels like, and I just had to make sure that I was right. So Lillian Richard is the last person that we see on the box.
Okay.
And the family, because I was like, I know the family had spoken out and made a statement, and they said she's a part of history. So erasing her off is like erasing history. But isn't that the same argument that many use for the statues and other things?
The flag, right.
Right. If anything, put an empowered Black woman on there or something. But I can't. There's some things we just gonna have to take a hit for. We have to get past these things. We have to get past the step and fetch. I understand during certain periods why we had to do what we had to do, even if it was the dance and the shucking. That was a means of survival. I can even understand how they feel about Miss Richards, who's now on the box. That's your family history. But the thing is, so the niece who also spoke out is a big supporter of Black Lives Matter. That's what kind of made me shocked that she wanted to keep that image. I would have countered, just from a marketing standpoint. I'm just putting on my thinking cap. I'm a business brand. What would I do? Why don't you do something that shows Black women being empowered, that goes against that smiling, grin, and be happy stereotype? I don't even like the Quaker Oats commercial where the woman is not, I think it's Quaker Oats. She's got the hair net thing on and she's like, this is real good. Like, it's the subtle things like that I just don't like it. I feel like we can't afford to put those images, because here's the thing, whether we know they're not true about us, the world, the international world, looks at that and they still see us in that way. Not that I care as much, but we've got to be careful. There's messaging in everything. You, Loren, and you and Angel know, when it comes to marketing, you got people who sit around a table and talk about the pros and cons of putting someone on here. So you're feeding into something. You're not going to do it if you don't think it makes money. And you're probably taking it off because it's going to cost you some money at the end of the day. I'm just saying, take it off. I always knew the history of Aunt Jemima.
Right.
That and other images that we see, even the ice cream truck song that we hear played, that people don't really understand the background.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I was talking to my brother and he said, well, Ebony, we're just going to have to take down everything, get rid of all of history. I was like, so you would rather live a lie? You would rather live a lie than to just say, let's do something different. People want to hold on to these things.
Yeah. Here, look at Dr. Jan in the car. You got to be on a computer, Dr. Jan. You're going to get booted off. Live stream don't let you play from the car.
I have been working out all morning.
Okay, I did too. I know it's the first day back. We already talked about you. First day back in Illinois. I was in the parking lot at 5:45 and went in at 6, got home, and sitting in this chair. So anyway.
Don't make him give you a nickname.
Right. Dr. Jen, how far are you from home?
Oh, well, I am maybe a half an hour away.
Oh, you won't be able to be on here.
No. Well, can I
Oh,
be on in my car?
you can try.
I
If,
have pulled over and parked because if I start my car up, this will shut off.
okay, well, we saw a clip of Aunt Jemima, and we're talking about how that whole thing is going down. We're going to go through several clips. So we're just finishing up about Aunt Jemima and, how we feel. I want to ask, how many people, by a show of hands, has some Aunt Jemima pancake mix in their pantry right now?
I have syrup.
Oh, yeah, got that too. Ebony. See, we
It's
all do.
old. It's old. It's old.
I know, but the thing was, did it ever bother you when you're pulling it out, getting ready to whip it up, you got your bacon and stuff going? Did you look over? Did you, I did. I always have. That's why I dressed as her a couple years ago for Halloween, because I was like, how is this still? So for one, am really excited to see that the change is being made. But Dr. Jan, you went to school with her, so I'm just
I'm going to
saying.
get
Dr. Dan, you better get him. Go in. Go in.
I am going to get him.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you always
Mima,
get that.
don't let him do that, Mima.
I know. So, but Dr. Dan, how do you feel? I mean, have you ever heard women in your family talk about Aunt Jemima and that whole
No,
look?
not really. Not really, because I mean, it's something that I grew up with, and I just accepted it. You
Mm.
know, um, and so since I am from a different generation,
Right.
it was just something that I saw and never really thought anything about it. But as I got a little older, to me, it was like celebrating this woman who came up with this recipe.
But she didn't.
Well, see, that's what I did not know.
Right. They knew we would all assume it.
Yeah.
It's just like Betty Crocker. That's not even a real person.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's
That
just a brand name,
Yeah.
And they show her too.
It fits into the narrative of the black mammy being in the kitchen, always cooking. So if it comes from our table, it's got this and it's got soul and it's rich and it's all these other things. That's playing into a stereotype. I think I was convicted because I knew the story, and it's like there's so much going on. I didn't even think about doing anything about it. And as woke as sometimes I feel like I am, I'm questioning myself. Well, shucks, I could have just got a different brand. I don't eat pancakes that much, so the box is old. However, I paid money for it. And with this, several Black women have been instrumental in making money for the Quaker Oats brand. I think there's something you can do, even in paying homage to that woman who did it, right? Who was on the box, Miss Lily Richardson. You can pay homage to her in a lot of things. However, we just got to be careful, and it's making me, Uncle Ben's. You got all that. Well, nobody know.
Oh, good point.
A lot of these things.
Got some of that in there too.
Why are they doing it? What is it that we represented to the American culture when it comes to when it comes to this conversation? So, did he get Uncle Ben? And I love Uncle Ben's rice, but we know it's just a caricature that they've chosen to associate it, and we're always the ones that are in the middle of that. So I don't know. I think get all your products. Let's go clean our shelves right now.
I did, and I'm ashamed because look, I got some grits that you should see. It was on the
I didn't even know
it was the markdown. That's the markdown counter. They done put $2. So yeah, so there she is with her Oprah-looking self, and here's Uncle Ben's, and that's a great point because I wonder if he was a real person.
I don't know.
And he probably ain't got nothing to do with this rice or anything, but so exploitation has always been
a marketing technique.
Exactly. So let's go on to our next shot, which I mentioned to the girls while we were in the green room, and they weren't aware of it. I don't know if you are, Dr. Jan, but there's a little thing I remember when it first came out a couple weeks ago. Now it's all over the place with lots of people getting on TikTok, taking the challenge, and it is the Put a Finger Down challenge, where you start with your 10 fingers and there's a series of questions. about well, why don't we just take a look? Let's take a look.
You should have had us play the game.
You can play it while they do it. So you can put your fingers up. We're all gonna be seeing on the screen. So let's go along with it. Good idea. Here we go. Here it is. Okay. I hope they do the whole thing because
Put a finger down if you've ever had to teach your child how not to be killed by the police. Any fingers left?
that's privilege. Okay, now I think they're gonna show it.
Ross and Allison Holzer used TikTok to share a powerful message.
Check your privilege edition.
That's the couple with their 4-year-old son, Maddox, participating in a TikTok challenge called Check Your Privilege, which asks users a series of questions about their life experiences. For each one that applies to you, you put a finger down. Allison posted the video to her account and wrote in text on screen, "White privilege is real."
Put a finger down if you have been called a racist slur. Put a finger down if you've been followed in a store unnecessarily. Put a finger down if someone has crossed the street to avoid passing you.
And there's more.
Put a finger down if you've had someone clench their purse in an elevator with you. Put a finger down if you've had someone step off of an elevator to keep from riding with you. Put a finger down if you've been accused of not being able to afford something expensive.
The So You Think You Can Dance Along TikTok video
Okay,
comes after George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man in Minneapolis, died when a police officer...
Okay, we're gonna actually do it because I see you guys haven't done it, and that's important. So hold on. I just want to say
I'm holding the phone with one of my hands.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna go back because I want us to actually do it. I found it. I pulled it up. So hold on. We're gonna actually do it. Everybody want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's do the whole thing.
I had one incident to
check your privilege. Here it goes. Now I don't know why it's jiggling, but
Put a finger down if you have been called a racial slur. Put a finger down if you've been followed in a store unnecessarily. Put a finger down if someone has crossed the street to avoid passing you. Put a finger down if you've had someone clench their purse in an elevator with you. Put a finger down if you've had someone step off of an elevator to keep riding with you. Put a finger down if you've been accused of not being able to afford something expensive. Put a finger down if you have had fear in your heart when being stopped.
Oh, yes.
Put a finger down if you have never been given a pass on a citation that you deserved. Put a finger down if you have been stopped or detained by police for no valid reason. Put a finger down if you have been bullied solely because of your race. Put a finger down if you have been denied service solely because of the color of your skin. Put a finger down if you've ever had to teach your child how not to get killed by the police. Any fingers left? That's privilege.
so some of us have a couple fingers. I didn't have any.
Me
I didn't have any left. And I love that.
I had 2 left.
Okay, so you see, and I love it because people of every race are doing this challenge, and we're learning more about each other. That wow, okay, wait a minute, So how does that make you feel when you hear those questions, Angel?
So for me, I think it's imperative. It's part of the enlightenment. And as you know, I did a documentary last month called I Am Black, and it was all about raising the consciousness of the disparities between Black and other cultures, right? And so I think it's another part of just letting people know this is real. It's not fake. This is something that we go through on a day-to-day basis. I think a lot of times people make the assumption that, oh, you have to be a certain stereotype. Like you're Black, but you're a thug, or you're Black and you're like, lower class. And this is why these things happen. And I think doing something as simple as, the finger down challenge, it shows that no, it's not just that type of individual. It's across the board. If you're Black, you automatically are going to have people looking at you a particular way. And it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate reality, but it's good that it's being kind of showcased where other people are paying attention.
I agree. Dr. Jan, and we'll go to Ebony.
Okay, well, because I've lived it ever since I was a little kid. I think I said before that I remember, having to ride on the back of the bus with my grandmother down in Texas. But to bring it up, just today, driving today, a policeman was behind me, and I'm in like a practically all white suburb, and he stayed behind me for quite some time. Now, why was I feeling like, okay, he's going to pull me over? I haven't done anything. Why am I feeling this way? And it's something that I guess I've lived with for so long that all of this that's happening is not enlightening to me because it's always been there ever since I can remember.
Mm, okay. What are your thoughts, Miss Ebony?
So it made me think of two things. One, I didn't even think of the necessarily white privilege. I thought of, I want Black people, in particular Black men, to pay attention to the fact that Black women have no fingers left up too. A lot of times we look at this through the lens of, we look at it from a very patriarchal kind of side of things. So when it comes to police brutality, oh, the men, or when it comes to people clutching their purses on an elevator, we think in terms of men, right? But women, Black women, go through the same thing. I've had people step off the elevator. I had someone just last year, I had on sweats, but it was like a bright sweatsuit running to my job through a door that you have to have a key pass to get into. And so you go through a private garage, but everyone who goes to that door has to have a key. I couldn't have gotten through the door without the key. Literally, this woman took off in a full sprint when she saw me. Tried to hurry up and get through the door to get on the elevator. Now I'm walking. I'm like, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I get to the elevator. Of course, it hasn't come yet. So now she's looking like a fool. And I take my key to go to my seat on the elevator. And she looks almost like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say it, because we both knew what that was. I wasn't trying to catch the elevator so I could ride on it with you. I had my own key, lady. The second thing it made me think of was, I would love to see the put a finger down when it comes to also a lot of economic issues. So put a finger down if you weren't able to go to the school that you wanted because of redistricting, but it was because they were rezoning, especially in Black neighborhoods. Or put a finger down if your mother experienced redlining. Or put a finger down if the city that you live in, which is predominantly African American, has lead in the water. Like, what would it look like if we did that on that type of level, especially in education, because we see resources being shifted. And so that was so real what she did. But we can take that even deeper, and it will lead us to why we are many times in this situation that we're in. I lived in a very nice apartment a couple of years ago. We were all talking around, sitting in circles, and one Black girl, she said, I've never experienced racism. I said, what? She said, no, I haven't really experienced it. I said, let me tell you something. I don't even know anything about your family, but I'm pretty sure that your mama probably wanted you to go to a better school. She probably didn't get into the neighborhood she wanted to get in when she bought her house. If I were to talk to your grandmother and went through her history, there's some things that could have altered where you are now. I said, that's systematic racism. So because nobody's calling you the N-word, there are choices you don't even know that you can make. Because of where you are, that other people know around you. Sometimes racism may seem a little blind because it's not always in your face. Maybe the reason why you haven't gotten promoted on your job and you look and see like you're the only Black person in there, maybe you just met a quota, but they don't have any faith in you. You don't. So when people say that, I think we look at it in terms of, did someone call me out my name, or did someone get off an elevator? But sometimes even where you are at the spot in your career, and as a woman, has to do with systematic racism. So when she said that, I just want to say, girl, bye.
Right. Great point. Great point. Listen, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, there are a couple more campaigns out there, and there's so many others than the ones here today. But we're going to take a look at those because just a few weeks ago when in my town here in Naperville, there was the peaceful protest during the day and the not so peaceful protest later that evening. And I happened to go to the grocery store with my propane tank around 4 p.m. because it had went out in the middle of my grilling, and my Ace Hardware was blocked up because of the riots downtown. And so I was standing out front of my grocery store where I've gone for the entire time we've lived here, holding it because I called ahead and I was going to come out and meet me. And the people came, some of the white ladies that work at the store came running out, screaming, "You can't be that close to the building with that. No, you can't go in with it." You know, and as if I was sitting there with a blowtorch, ready to blow the place up. And, you know, we're behind masks, this and the other. And, you know, when this thing first started, I remember I posted a picture because I'd gone to 2 banks and a grocery store that day with a bandana, sunglasses. I said, as a 57-year-old man, I never thought I'd see the day where I could have gone to 2 banks and a grocery store looking like this and lived to tell y'all about it. But I almost didn't that day in a way. So anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about 2 things. Say Her Name campaign, and also, how many of you know about the Blackest Blackout? Think about it. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. We're here. It's Monday's edition, July 6th of Bathrobe Moments. And my 3 guests, Angel Livas, Ebony McMorris, and Dr. Janice Hooker Portman are here. And I want to say hats off. Thank you so much to Nikki's of Naperville and also the Emperor's Medicine, holistic medicine, functional medicine, and the needle thing, acupuncture, for being our sponsors for the month of July. Thank you all. So, raise your hand if you're aware of the Blackest Blackout campaign. Dr. Dan? Okay. It was something that used to be just on Juneteenth, just on the day, and now it is out there until indefinitely. How do you feel about that? And do you think something like this is going to help the overall movement? Because, you know, what I think of immediately, and I wonder how you ladies feel about it, what I think of immediately is the purpose of the boycott, the bus boycott, how you hit them in the pocket. And do you think that this is going to make any kind of a difference as far as getting the attention of others? Why don't you start on this one, Ebony?
Anything that you do can make a difference. And what causes it to make a difference is our participation in it. So I'm always reminded of Malcolm X in one of his speeches when he said, we wouldn't have to sit up here and boycott if we would support our own communities. if you support our own, we don't have to boycott something else because we've created it within ourselves. And so I'm not asking people. I don't care if you don't like me and you're of a different race. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking for. I'm not even asking, demanding what you owe me. So I think sometimes we have to. A couple of things. Forgive ourselves and give our own people a break, because sometimes we can be the worst when it comes to we're once one Black company does us wrong, we're done. We're like, that's why I don't fool with. But yet every day you're paying your light bill to a company that is not Black, your cell phone bill, you are shopping in stores, and you can go down the list of bad experiences that you've had with white companies. But sometimes we're quick to cut our own selves off. A girlfriend of mine said she really began changing how she spent her money when she realized she woke up in the morning, got her nails done, had a nail appointment, and it was a Korean shop. She went to go get some food after that, and it was Chinese food. After she did that, she went to a bank that wasn't Black owned. By the time she ended her day in this Black community, none of her money was put into Black business. And she's like, I didn't even realize it. So just as we have this habit of, if you want to eat better, why don't you make a list of what you eat that day so that you can see what you're doing? We should do the same thing when it comes to our money. Let's see, if we want to do better, let's make a list to see from day to evening what we do. And then see, does my life reflect Black? And many times it doesn't. So when we have campaigns that's blackout, I'm all for it. You don't have to like me. So I'm going to put money into my community to build it. That's how we'll have better schools. It's a chain reaction. So I'm always on board for things like that.
Awesome.
I love it.
I agree. Angel, what about you?
Yeah. So one, I think it's important to explain what the blackout is for the viewers.
Please.
Who may not be aware. So it's essentially where people in the African American community should not spend their money on businesses that are not African American, Black owned.
Black owned.
Have to just be African American. And so, going back to what Loren said earlier, the power of the Black dollar is significant. And we don't always understand what our true economic power and impact is in this country. And so to raise the consciousness, but to go along with what Ebony said, we actually have to participate. It's one thing to put your Instagram profile Black and, say that this is going to happen. But if you're still, on Amazon making your purchases and doing all of these different things, then you're really not contributing to what us as a whole are trying to do. And when I say us as a whole, the Black culture, right? And so that participation is key. The second thing is the Montgomery bus boycott. It took over 365 days for that to actually make an impact. So this is not some fly by night. We're going to just do it 1, 2, 3 times. This is something that is going to take time to really create that impact. And that's where we often fall off. We don't always make the long-term commitment because it gets hard. It's no longer as easy as, let me go make this purchase. So we have to make a true commitment to actually doing and being active in this movement of the blackout. And so to me, that's really important. And like I said, the power of the Black dollar is so powerful. Like a lot of the projects that I do, I will work with all Black cast. I will work with other companies that they may not have been working during this pandemic, but here's our opportunity to really reach out and lend a hand and to say, yo, I see you over here and I see you trying, like, let's partner up. And everybody right now during this season, if you haven't been working and you have a business, you're waiting on that opportunity. You're all about the community, the customer service. You're going to go above and beyond because this can also be a pivotal moment for change.
Amen.
This can be the time when that Black-owned business that wasn't getting a whole lot of business, these larger corporations could be looking at and say, hey, well, maybe we can subcontract to this Black-owned business. Maybe we can do this, but you have to rise to the occasion. You still have to show up. So to me, this blackout is so much more than, just saying, hey, we're not going to make these purchases, but it's also to highlight, what are these Black-owned businesses? What are they doing? What kind of services are they offering? And I know that there are some apps and things like that that are being created for you to see what organizations and what businesses are Black-owned in your community. So that's kind of my takeaway from it.
Okay, awesome. I've also in the comments posted the link for the Blackest Blackout, and that's for anyone, not just people of color, because there are a lot of allies. There are a lot of people who want to see change, and they don't necessarily have to be of African American descent. So if you'd like to know more, stay informed, click on the link and check it out. It's also on the screen right here. Angel, you have something else?
Yeah, I just wanted to add this. For people who support Black Lives Matter and just support the Black culture, I think that anything that you do can help. Right. So if you have a business and there's an opportunity for you to give or supply somebody with a job and they're Black, this is a great time to show your support. Right. Or if you go by a school and you know that they don't have all of the resources that they need and you have the money that you can invest and say, hey, here's 100 computers or 25 computers, then you're contributing to the change. You don't always have to wait for it to be some big grand movement.
Right.
You can be the movement.
Little things sometimes start the ripple. Yeah.
Yeah, you can stand up and say, this is my contribution to this movement.
I agree. Dr. Dan, what say you?
Well, I agree with both Ebony and Angel. But I also think that the key word here is commitment, and that we have to be committed to support Black businesses, Black restaurants. Now, one thing we did here in Chicago, we amassed a list of all of the Black-owned restaurants. And so we've been going to them, the ones who are open now. And I think what we do a lot of times, we will have that one day when we'll say, buy Black. But that one day really does not make an impact. There was some statistics once, and I've forgotten exactly the numbers, but how much money that we spend. We drive this economy, and we can drive the economy in our Black neighborhoods. Now here in Chicago, if you drive into a Mexican or Hispanic neighborhood, you see all their stores. You don't see any other races. You don't see any Black stores there. You don't see any Oriental stores there. They support, their money is recycled in their neighborhoods. And that's something that we don't do, unfortunately. And,
unless it's the liquor store.
I think, okay, yeah.
Well, because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's an ongoing joke. You go into a Black neighborhood, you got either a liquor store on every corner or a church.
Or a church. Yeah, or a church.
Oh, let me mute. I forgot. I was trying to keep it. Okay.
Now, you interrupted me, and you know that if you interrupt a senior citizen, that's it.
Here. Oh, sorry. I hit the mute button. That was an accident. Oh, look, did it again. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Wizard. Yeah. So no, I'm sorry. What's that?
Dan.
Yeah.
I'm looking on. I didn't know if I should say Uncle Ben. Wait, okay. I will leave it alone.
I'm so through with you.
Dr. J, look, you should go have a switch waiting for me when you see me. I already know.
Listen, make that Chicago come out.
Right. There's one little thing I wanted to take a look at before we get out of here, because this is the thing that touched me the most. That's why I want to end with it. So I don't want to miss that. Take a look at what they're saying about the Say Her Name campaign real quick. Very important. Okay.
There's an invisible string connecting a mother to her child. When that string breaks, everything comes undone.
Well, for me, the whole play was just remarkable.
The actors that was acting us, Gina was leading us, and we getting all, they acted just like we act.
Knowing that our daughters are also getting a voice through another vessel, that was priceless.
The lives that should have been, we'll never get to see, but it was good to see the dream.
They saw them as human beings, not just a person, a number, or Jane Doe shot and killed.
It almost solidifies their existence, their humanization.
You have people who are on a stage who are showing that they meant enough, our daughters meant enough for them not only to learn lines, but to also try to embody their essence. Where then out in the world, they didn't even mean enough to mention or even say their names.
The possibility of what their lives could have been, that was the most impactful part, because you get to relate to the person instead of the news story.
It just gets the story out without forcing us to, if you want to call it, relive it over and over again. It's just super important to allow the world to know what our lives are like and what our daughters' lives could have been.
This is not the narrative that anyone else can tell except for the family and for the mothers.
What I've heard, there wasn't a dry eye there, so they felt our pain.
When you say murder, people just assume the worst in a person that was murdered. You sit there long enough and think about it, you'll realize that it can happen to you.
Just try to say, wait a minute. That could have been my daughter fixing her door. That could have been my baby fixing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a cop shoots through. My daughter leaving Walmart and a cop shoots her.
What stood out to me the most, that they was all friends. It made me feel like, you know what? She not up there in heaven by herself. She got a road dog with her. They rolling up there.
I could see it. I could feel it. And to know that she was still here with me.
And then I'm thinking about what are they going to do Lewis Campbell when he get up there. Because when the lady got up there, they going to kick him out of heaven and kick him to hell. And I was like, yes.
Now they know that these are things that we can't do on our own, that we need their help. We need the audience help in making things happen, in moving forward.
Standing there and embracing the young lady who acted as India, for a moment I imagined I was able to embrace my daughter again. That was very profound.
That's a feeling I can't express, but I felt the same.
Yeah.
Just to embrace that child.
Yeah.
You know?
We had a chance to hold our babies again, physically like that, for all the world to see while they say their names.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, ooh.
If you don't get this show on Broadway, you better let us know.
Let me get everybody unmuted. I just didn't want to have any distractions from that. We have about 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna start. Dr. Jan, let's do about a minute and a half each. Well, how does that make you feel, and what do you think we need to do so that all the Black women that are victims to the same thing with the police as men have their day, that their names are said and their spirits are remembered?
You know, that's something that, I mean, when you watch that, it makes you so sad. You know, it makes you want to tear up. That's something that no mother ever wants to feel. The loss of a child, especially through violence and especially through something that never should have been. That to me, that play should go not only on Broadway, but all over, because any mother, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, they're going to feel that. And they're going to feel it, especially knowing that these are Black young women whose lives were snuffed out. And what could happen?
Mm-hmm.
What, you know, what a waste. What a waste. Right. It makes me sad, you know, to watch that. Because I mean, Uh-uh. I don't know what I would do if I lost my son to something like that. Really.
Right. I agree. Thank you, Dr. Jen. Angel?
For me, it goes back to raising the consciousness. I think that a lot of times it's that assumption, as we said earlier, that it's Black men that this is really only happening to. And so for a play to be put together, to be able to share it with the masses, to tell the story, not just that this has happened, but to tell her story.
Right.
To get to really understand who she was. I think that that's powerful. I think that, yes, it should definitely be, something on Broadway, but to even just imagine it as even more than that, to shoot it where it can go into schools, where people can start learning about, hey, this is real. This doesn't just affect Black boys. You girls, y'all need to be paying attention too. Protocol as well, right? And so just having the conversation, it's a conversation starter, as Ebony said when we started the show.
Right.
One thing to create content, but you want that content to live on. You want that content to spark protocol, conversation, action plans, not just end with this play.
Nicely said. I agree 100%. Can you wrap it up for us, Ebony?
I think all of these things, from Aunt Jemima to Say Her Name to the Blackout Movement, should result in lifestyle changes. This should spark us to say, not just give, not just do this, not just tweet. We need a culture shift and a lifestyle change. So my beliefs are reflected in my lifestyle. Make that sheet. If what you do, if what you are about, if what's your system, don't reflect what's coming out of what you want to happen or what's going on your Facebook feed. If that's not a reflection of your lifestyle, then you are not about this at all. I see that and it makes me want to tear up. But it also means that I have a responsibility. You need to feel like you have a responsibility. You have purpose, and part of your purpose is to change the arena that you're in and leave something for somebody else coming behind you. And if you don't feel that personal conviction, then you need to readjust, because this life is not about you. My life is also about a Sandra Bland, about a Corinne Gaines. So while their mothers will always be grieving over the loss, there's hope that we can bring with our lifestyle changes and picking up righteousness, speaking truth to power, and then taking the lessons from their lost children and incorporating it and figuring out how can we make this life better for others.
I said it better myself. I want to thank all of you. We're out of time. It just goes so fast. It always does when you're talking about something that is the truth. And but it just means that we need to continue the conversation. And so do that, whether it's with your children, your spouse, your neighbor, your friend, a colleague, whomever. Just have the conversation. Doesn't matter what color they are. Doesn't matter how old they are. It just matters that you have the conversation. The truth is the only thing in this universe that will never change. And it's the only thing in this universe that will never change on you. Speak it, live it, and be a part of the truth. Thank you, ladies. A pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Everybody.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Oracle is here for another episode of Bathrobe. Bye-bye.